생인데 시위지 정부 잡아. 근데 저거 걸어 다 저기 가지 미숙한 걸어 나가 어떤 팀이 지라 맞아 진짜기 현상 같은 거 걸어 올라야 돼. 어떻게 인디가라 아 저파 생인데 뭐네 전주 유튜브에 나타나 저게 파인 아니 저게 아니 그래서 상황만 줘도 돼. 그래서 다 아니 저게 미팅 줘도 사람이 돼. 있어 쉬운 내기 예 심중 예다 믿어봐서 두 번이 니 잡아요. 시부지 투치고 지금도 맞은 중이야라. 어다 뒤지네. 시부지 내 친구 잘 어다 뒤캔 거야지 잡아요. 다음에 그런데 니네 여기가 되주나 니들아가 그래서 공부할지 같이 기둥을 중세 중화다. 가지기 너가 춤 제나 동안 다낸다. 너가 지민님 돼서봐 공부할지 발라. 어다 계속 뭐 그거들. 응? 동안 다낸 게 있어봐. 너처럼 지민님 돼서봐. 그래서 숨도와. 뭐래? 말아도 동안 다낸 게 있어봐. 그래가 눈에당 대대잖아. 대공기 동안 또 땅도 랭겨와. 어다 지금 오늘 말아도 오면 자기가 예반이 지 리는 내게 왕기 예반은 얘네들 계속 말해 연구가 있고 코에 원들아 선나도 내가 선을 핑계여서 그 다른 게 뒤지는 때도 또 너가 춤춤 땅도 랭기도 와. 무슨 때도 왜 계속 그 제네스 다 때문에 봐. 추억이 지수되시지? 아니 추억 남다도 마찬가지. 이제는 추억이 영원도 너는 다 되게 됐어. 추억이 이제 남도기 군이 남비 저도 인용 소리 중에 중앙에서 저버티네 저버거로 다들 아 저기 리치 망고 연다 chen dinan di nebe funzo tenir tonta so injen lu tang du da jesu soye to so ko lo won cha ani tenami tuksa jin chi chena ma ge di ga so lu ene so le tan chi de la zan zabar chi ni lu do so ne so ko lo re tanda ayes ne zambuni na ta khandi ji mi sami dichi 계속 다 보냈어. 너 통과. 독스진이 무슨 진리야? 무슨 거는 원 차고 왔다 때 괜히 지겨 말. 하나님 너 간대지나 된리라. 또서 지식자. 아니 소수 배워 공부는 돼야라. 아니 거기나 또 땅도 렌지 독스지야. 다 양다가 차고. 뭐 그거 차고 왔다 때 순간.
When we say, wrong understanding or wrong distorted, which is basically it means kind of not meaningful. The next one is patience. You should meditate on the patience that endures whatever small sufferings and hardships arise in the course of listening, thinking, and meditating. That accepts whatever small hindrances occur and does not retaliate, however you may be harmed. And the first it talks about what is the proper patience. Proper patience, means such as in the different types of suffering. One type of suffering is voluntarily kind of enduring, difficulties. And under that comes such as we do kind of like a practice of retreat, of fasting, and when you meditate, there might be some kind of physically uncomfortableness, and we voluntarily do those, and those were proper patience that is meaningful, that can lead to right kind of result. But on the other hand, the wrong patience But it is misplaced patience if instead you endure the various sufferings which result from subduing your force and caring for your relatives and so forth, motivated by the 8 worldly concerns. So says here, the patience that is motivated or under the influence of 8 worldly concerns, which is basically, engaging in activities in a such way that kind of it's really biased, something doing for people that you lie close to, and then always kind of against people that you hate, dislike. And in that kind of processes, we ordinary people actually do lots of patience. We call tolerance and patience, but however, those are not actually genuine or real tolerance. And especially, in conflict, in bringing a harm and killing others, and people even sacrifice their own life, in the act of kind of, the more detail, of course, of the patience, Shantideva's book, Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, entire chapter 6 is on patience, and Shantideva talks the benefits, advantages, and more importantly, the opposite of patience, which is hatred and anger, because these two are the most kind of destructive emotion in our thought, and not only kind of emotionally, powerful, but these are also powerful in destroying a positive, virtuous marriage that we created. So the point here is that instead of kind of showing a patience in kind of immediate, short-term, kind of bias, we should be kind of engaging in the proper or genuine practice of patience, which is very kind of engaged in creating a positive activities.
니제 싸워지미 취지냐네 이제 미빠 심전 삼전에 미인자 미빠 야차와 이왕이 지부 야차와 거야 남바 야차와 차지가 이 체진 세대가 미빠 남바 지비체 지부 야차와 인사 상기 미네비 양대 두고 와 대부대 땡기기 지부네 민전 수화지 요한 잡아라 뭐네 싸워 개발 전부 있는 민데 주고도 대신 생계 가는 주의 시대 뒤자와 장 니신들 세대 인도되게는 손난 니신이는 장도 시작내 친구를 시작해 딜 안에 진정 존재 진지나 시작을 납친거서 요 좀시 양양 송도 와 김신한 반님의 송도 와 어떻게도 내 친구를 어떻게 된지 지금 저 딜리지 제가 있나 표선 딜리지 제 뒤쪽에는 개발침이 저라로 나오지 뭐네 온 거래 근데 이 왜야 돼 이제 왜야 돼이 제가 있나 소설의 테마도 좀된 싸움이요 이 어디가 개발침이 시들이 진진이나 젠 진진기 연된 통고래 제거마다 연된 마토는 연구한 말이야 이 연디가 타동 나 진진이 견시 젠 진진이 연된 시에 된주더라 르벤 지와라게 동계한다 망도신의 지지자 투바랑 그 던지다 가사 지바랑 그 던지다 투마신기 던지면 니게네 개발다 있어 숨도와 지바스는 수스기요 마다마다고 아니 로네 산노 충충 부장이 동된지라 지바스요 이 아란데 코나지들이 다다버도 코로아 네버래 다둥 코로아 니그리 투어 좀바 좀네 냐메샤기가 버티니 젠덴 바시 제네 메네 빙양데투 젤라니 베 젠덴 바지기 틀레니 베 초고송데 투스친지가 디니 개발돼 있어 빠르티인데가 진 진진기 연된 통과에 시원이 내좀 잘 거야 재산 준주 하나라 랑 진지 윤시 이젠 진지 윤den시네 디니 개발 동계 어디 좀 요리시와라게 디포레스 오늘네 semla 뭐가 엠버리 어떻게 양양도 오가지고 와야 차고 알았어 대단 많이 봐 너희 농주다 차는 꾸네 나는 너도 인정 소리 롱용할 때 롱용 걸어 나도 시네 어떻게 걸어 소리
The last and the sixth, the wrong understanding. It's a translated as a wrong flavor or wrong taste. Having entered the door of the great vehicle doctrine, you should experience the flavor of this holy teaching by hearing and contemplating it. The teachings of, higher vehicle or greater vehicle, which is really rooted in the practice of compassion, and in terms of object of the observation, in terms of its nature, in terms of its result, it's a greater, because in terms of a target in the practice of greater vehicle, you are aiming at entire sentient beings and to elevate and relieve suffering. And therefore, in actual practice, you engage following that objective, and then you attain result of enlightenment. And to do that, one starts from practice of altruistic mind. And again, when you go back further, that altruism is really based on the root. The root here is compassionate mind. And that's what we find in the Sutra ornament text, which says that compassion is the root of altruistic mind. And with that kind of understanding, with that kind of having a flavor, taste in your life, and then engaging in the further kind of after hearing and contemplation, further kind of practice of meditation, combining analytical and single-pointed meditation together. Engaging further into the practice and teachings, that is the kind of a flavor that you should be having, and this is mentioned by His Holiness and his two teachers, and here again the important is understanding of the positive impacts of other cherishing thought, and then negative impact of self-cherishing egocentric mind. And after kind of explaining these two in the Shantideva's text, A Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, Shantideva came to the conclusion saying that what more there else to say? Look at the differences between enlightened being on the one hand and then the childish. Childish refers to ordinary people like us who is so full of egocentric mind, always narrow mind, doing for sake of oneself, ignoring others. And those are the childish behaviors. And just look at those two. And enlightened beings were enlightened out of cyclic existence, while childish are still kind of taking a rebirth endlessly and suffering. So Shantideva kind of says that look at just the differences between these two. What else? What more there is to say about the differences between self-cherishing and other cherishing thoughts. So then what we shouldn't be, having a kind of bad taste or wrong flavor, says, but on the contrary, to indulge in sensual pleasures and motivated by attachment, to taste your enemy's defeat and your relative's defense is to experience the wrong flavor. So enjoying this kind of pleasure, enjoying in the sensual pleasures, motivated by all kinds of afflicted emotions, enjoying and rejoicing in enemy's defeat, and sort of protecting, kind of rising against and doing all kind of bad things, in kind of related with your relatives or close by. So these are the wrong, the wrong flavor that we shouldn't be engaged into. Yes. So we'll stop here for today, and you can ask questions, any questions if you have. Yeah.
나가 방야랑을 숨 좋아.
Please help us to understand a little bit more about emptiness and soundlessness and the difference between the two of them. And also, if possible, please give us some example. And also, please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm thinking emptiness is related to phenomenon and also objects, things. And also soundlessness is related to method application. Is that correct or not? Please correct me.
At the end, there's only one sentence that it says these things should be given up. So all those wrong understandings, 6 wrong understandings, should be given up. 제가 대체 뭐라는 게 똥이다 당매 다음에 거기 세시시로 이들어도 뭐랑 다 고아로시 똥이라나 가려고 그래. 뭐부 제가 뭐보다 잘하던데 저와요 된다. 다음에도 좀 버리안 가려고 그래. 라그넨 라고래 탑실로 된데 지다 저와요 된거 뭐랑 용난 라고 셴 된데로 저 뭐랑 서로와다 가려고 고아 된데로 시도사 딜 세시시로 제로 똥이다 당매라 이렇게 고아 간댔어.
동반이 때 기지다 만들어 동리 양가를 했던 자원이요 말했어. 즉 동반 기지 간대지나 때 당기 규지지 아니 동반이나 동반하신 게 뭐도 봐. 나랑 너무 두더라. 수수 개창 술을 마셔가지고 동반 수수도 그거든지 하는 일들이 탁 버리지. 마치 통과하는데 근데 수수 주비 동화지다라 군대상의 수수주동의 동화 군대상의 한신이 맞을 거다 군대 층이 있을 거야 군대 캐쳐야 돼 인디가라 동이 제가 캐시도 만들기 지기 동이 양가로시 요 말해서 아제 통과가 있어 인디가라 같이 기지치 캐쳐쳐
we can begin with saying that emptiness is, it's a feature, it's a characteristic. There is no emptiness which is totally separate from entity or thing or object. So when we say emptiness, it is kind of explaining character, a feature of something. For example, if you use the basis or the object of vase or pot, when we say emptiness of the pot, what we are saying is that the appearance of the pot that we have when we look at the pot or vase, that it exists independently by itself, self-sufficiently, without anything to do with kind of interconnectedness. However, that's not the real. Reality. So when we say empty, what we are saying is empty of inherent existence, empty of objective existence, empty of self-sufficient existence, and that is the character, that is the feature of that vase, and that is also the reality of the mode of existence of that vase or that pot.
다음에 세야들라 다음에 내가 차와서 아빠서 주는 거래 디인디가가 다티 삼주다 소소 가사 인상 소삼단 집 다음에 라빠데 배나 가르지데 전쟁배 기지 숨자고라 다들라 기지 숨 기지 숨 가르나 민지가 다 바래 쓰고 그때 민지가 다 봐. 참에 지부 제기를 부서 기지 숨데 되자고. 또 딘다왜 기지 숨데 라데 민지가 다 봐. 참에 지부 제기를 부이 숨다 댕겐지라 아니 다 세다 치료를 받는 거고 알고 있어요. 안마된 줄들이야 돼. 딘지지간이 연구하. 다 남pe 디 마레시고 디 텐데다 디 기지 숨기 동화 Tiji Sundeda Jalwa, Tendijila, Zame Paz, Zame Rabari, Tendigi Tonwada, Zame Rabasi boy. Sa Charles Samdan, Wang Babotoku, choose it. Data, any bay, one Gucci Pumbos, any bay, Tades, Nangadua. But oh, shit, don't you get Karachi, Ma Cindy, Da Cindy, any bay, Pumbo was also in the energy. Pumbo, Shebale was also in the energy. Da one grew up with the Shidua. Then it's your man. There's some dumb boy. Oh, so some Tangi then. Some money. Shimji Chena, Raya, Kinio Mari. The Sene Raya Mari. Shibisane Raya Mari. You're not a Gua. You didn't give Gua. Takarchevare. But I do sometimes those Tangu
selflessness. There's a selflessness, subtle selflessness, and gross or coarse selflessness. Gross or coarse selflessness, we find interpretation in non-Buddhist school. We are using word self, but we also find sometimes using word soul in Atma, in Indian or Hindu understanding Atma, and they interpret soul or self or Atma as having a three quality. The first one is indestructible, something which is permanent, and second is something which is single, independent. And third is it has its own nature of entity, or substances. So those having a three qualification, they consider, the soul or Atma, or here we are using word self. That's a very gross or coarse level of understanding. But the subtle understanding which we find in Buddhist interpretation, it's easier if you look at your own self, you being human being and you having a self and being a person, you can just the way of investigation. This is you can do, and it's a helpful. In ordinary sense, it seems that when we talk about my body and me, there's a two separate entity, and there's a me which is ruler, author, which is the owner of this body, and then there's a body which is thing that is owned by me, I. We have this dualistic understanding. However, that is not the reality. We always say me, myself, self, I, a person, and where is that I-ness? Where is that self on your aggregate? Is it something in between your body, parts of the body, or is it something in between your different consciousnesses? You try to find it on yourself. Where is that I? Where is that self? Where is that person? Where is that me? And it is unfindable. If it exists independently, as if it appears to us, then it should be findable. However, that is not the case. It is unfindable. You won't find it. And also examining, because we always say when body that we have gets sick, get ill, we say I'm sick, I'm ill. And likewise, when our mind or our thought is unhappy, we say, I'm unhappy, as if your consciousness is same as you, as if your body is same as you.
But the two students sometimes any chick to the GV Mandayo. Mandayo, that the things are Mandayo. Cool. Don't you want to have a jet a mother? Got you going to try your mother's nature.
With that kind of investigation, you try to find self in yourself. Where is that self or I? And what is self? The meaning of self varies according to what school of thoughts you are saying. So in Buddhism, 4 school of thoughts or 4 tenets. Each school has its own interpretation of what is self. What is I or person. However, the highest school of thought, middle way school and middle way consequent schools, when talking about selflessness, they talk about 2 types: selflessness of phenomena and selflessness of person. And they make this distinction from the basis, from the object of negation. There is no differences at all. Both are exactly the same. The only differences lies in the foundation or the basis of emptiness between these two. So the emptiness on the person or of the person is the self, and the emptiness of the phenomena, none other than person, is emptiness of phenomena. So the only differences arises or comes from the foundation or basis, not how these two are empty. So differences between selflessness of person and selflessness of phenomena. We are talking about emptiness here. So selflessness of person is lack of intrinsic self on the person or on the self. And when we talk about the other, the selflessness of phenomena, or non-phenomena other than self, such as space. So the only difference between these two is the basis of foundation. Otherwise both the similar is lack of intrinsic nature. And from the understanding of high school of thought, middle way consequent school, when explaining I or self, because this we talk about I being taking a rebirth, in the cyclic existence, and I doing everything that so how does I exist? The mode of existence of I or self or person. And middle way consequent school says that it exists merely at the level of imputation or designation. We label this core I or self or whatever name it is to certain object or thing or phenomena. So in the so that's the mode of existence of I or self or phenomena. And if you go beyond that, it's unfindable. And we find this mentioned in the root text by Kunken Javan Sherpa, and he mentioned that lacking self-sufficient intrinsic nature, it is kind of designation towards others, so when talk about emptiness, things doesn't exist intrinsically, objectively, or self-sufficiently. A mode of existence is, it's merely kind of designation. We designate, So the point here is, in the Middle Eastern rules of kind of interpretation, things exist. The true or the reality is that they exist merely at the level of, imputation or designation or naming. So we're saying that he doesn't have much to offer, in this kind of explanation for the emptiness. In the Dajjin's in the name of the son, or we see the author mentioned that about the emptiness. Rahula, the son of Sangyek Sere. This verse by Rahula, son of Buddha Shakyamuni, about the emptiness, he begins with saying that it is beyond the wisdom or understanding of ordinary mind, beyond the wisdom, beyond expression, beyond thought of ordinary people. So talking about this emptiness. So emptiness for ordinary mind, there is no kind of expression that we can explain it. There's no that we can imagine or grasp by our level of understanding. It's beyond our thought and understanding. So Kishida is saying that he doesn't know much about it, and using this as kind of sort of excuse, saying that he doesn't. And we say this mother like a scripture or text, and referring to the content, text content with the content of emptiness, because of the understanding of emptiness, or we call it mother like text, because it is a mother in a sense that with understanding of emptiness, it produces, generates the the child of enlightened beings, heroes, solitary realizers, nobles. All those great practitioners are the children of understanding of this wisdom of emptiness. But however, what he he mentioned before, bravely, he thought that might be kind of helpful in just kind of opening your thought, and then you can go more into we do find different types of emptiness, such as 16 different types, 20 different types. Again, the Well, the difference is does not arises or is not based upon the mode of emptiness. Exactly, they are all same. When you say empty, empty of inherent existence, but the differences arises from the basis or foundation, just like self and phenomena. So it's good to kind of know these different classifications, how they are, different. Although we say 16 or 20 or different types of emptiness. Any other questions? Yeah.
I struggle with finding a way to balance the way that society makes the materials that we use every day. So when I see how things are made, like the animals get tortured and the water gets poisoned with chemicals that we use, that we buy at the store to clean our house, and I mean it's everything. It's the car that I drove to get here, and the food that I buy at the store with the high fructose corn syrup that's poisoning all the children and making them all fat. And it's like everything seems impossible to live without guilt, because every movement that you make is destroying the planet. I don't know how to find inner peace about that.
Murangi kalawarda tercha samdanda da jige beju chedi michigi nanglo jizogi chowa kedan da jizogi jala semi gogo sugo ra da beja murangi semje se denre ani pechu peju chenere khala peju singa jusa dige sama khala warda jige zangwa mayamba tu da trading and moradane moradiga yang kurula ni kedenge tinde jangja jige Indiana kala warda chizo nang de jige sem nang lo la gyoba do jtin de gi mandia ro jige kyangja yong de ma do jige da sem ding ne ge da morang chedan de lo chizo nang chowa gedan de khanda zambuling di toshi dang ro da ne ba ge ding ro ji khari chi kugyo ge ze sama tinde ge sambudan de ani kala gore sem nang lo dengi shidi yong e la gore tinde khande syong go na lo do morang samdang da dina shina
사회 지천이 약한 소리지나 당아서 닌게 제가 수속이 또 왕리가 말하다니 뭔가 지천이 수수하고 제투바데 지 군노나 셀레메도 거네 강 투바데 군노난다고는 제대 시민네 처벌에 있어 와 때나 아메리카 존이지나 야나 존이지나 야하로 존이지나 루신데 당아서 닌게 수속이 이 또신 뉴로 딱 수수기 간주를 영해도 가지고 뉴로 땅투나 약속을 제가래 이 랑게 데베군이 나네 두스제베이나 그런 가보지네 내가 연구와 그 반항가게 이 두아를 가서 뉴로 챙에 이 핑거를 대체지 핑거와 되는 마음이지 캐스지 사무관 마다지 두신 제베이나 이 위니 성성님 뭐지를 팬도로 와. 따지 수수이 니저당 집 아니 공공이 개발할 되니 팬도 용그리 삼부지. 그마다 그 니게 소소기 니마지나 강갈라에 배 니가 템바지 따대지 두에 카고 돼. 니배 카고들에 카고들에 유샤예요 말하면 여름치 charlie nandade labrim da tendi gala sunji nandi gala pecha longu na ani garum sojo gala loyo lode lem sam parnande ene chipogin de chek da tendi gala what lem sam kapu de sen nando wa ito to be able to do what did it so any kyangrum 약간 가면 간리실 때는 이게 요면 간리실 때는 즉 맞아 예 추이 증비는 줄제는 배 충만 배지다 경고는 좀 따는 거죠. 어떻게 저게 간지 니 세는 장고 남주 인생은 되게 즉 인주제야 돼. 공남도 간리실 차리나 것도 되게 배지 두 스타일이 쉬우지 내 참고로 있어. 민 정함전 저박하에 매긴 주지어나 맞아 다 농야마다 이 양로예요 말이 또 현도 이미 두스티네 말하죠 인지 찌기 예딱 진주 찌기는 편도용으로 쓰는 거지.
Here, it's really up to up to individuals or personals, personal kind of ability or responsibility, or maybe you can say limitation. Of course, living in a nation or a country or a big community, you don't have a control over everything, and therefore, you can impose your kind of way of thought. But what you can do at the level of individual, you can do that, and then from doing that kind of thing, you can make a difference, and you can have your own thought kind of relax and have a sense of satisfaction, including like pollution. We see a lot of pollutions in like India, China, and in restraining or kind of doing your kind of role, whatever you can in kind of controlling it. That's what you can do, and that's how you can contribute at the level of individual. And so doing your best in order to kind of help a world better place to live, and doing that with good intention, and following kind of the exemplary kind of lifestyle or behavior of a great spiritual teachers here, such as His Holiness. Whenever he gives a teaching, of course, he use table lamp next to him, and he turn it on. And when he finished his section of reading the text, he immediately turn it off. It's just a simple act, but he's very aware of what his role is impacting in the greater kind of world. And he also kind of abstain from using sort of luxurious bathtub, thinking about the water resources. And there are many there could be many examples that can follow in order to do best at the level of individual. 뭐랑 저거 되기 싫어하고서 직디 지도난다 만대야 망보다 구제제서 상마지게 잠부는 녀등에 인디도 뭐란 딘데기 깽게 셈나로라 칼로다 시디로지 레기 고업도 민도로 왔다 지키
고가 미워야 돼. 한강에서 두개 하나 말아왔다. 이 망보지 두개 하나 말아. 아 빠지지 니지지 니때려배 지수이란지 너가 강한지 두스지 말아서 빼그 가르쳐 버려. 투야 매겐들라는 배 사무양의 양도 따는 수수루수 녀매를 맞아. 너무 이펜 된다게 매겐지.
So here you have to see. You have to see, your own, how much you can accomplish, as an individual. Are you going to fix everything, problem that you see, or not? And then, if not, then what is the best way? As a one individual, you can contribute and you can make the change. And there are a lot of things at the level of individual that you can follow and practice, like the example that he mentioned of His Holiness.
간색 감 투가 주몽상 빼던 제네 소나마 사그레스 아니 선비진 돈다면서 선비진 되기는 유승 양거를 맞았대 펜더메기는 소소도 소소를 내가 레긴 집에는 되게 개성계요 말했어.
So doing kind of best that you can or that you can contribute, something that we can't fix and then just kind of keep worrying. In fact, there's no benefit in that. If something that is fixable, then you can do what you can. Otherwise, it will have, without any benefit, it might have a negative impact on just, how you think or even your health. So it has no really kind of benefit.
이미들 얘기하던 것은 선비전에 제세미도 가다 여전 밑에를 와. 단다 가서 라진기 지제시도 가. 내가 가르치 나도 공좀 봐. chemical 메이커다 가서.
Organic.
organic 에너지. 나 뭐셔 organic나 컴퓨니나 내가 지금 지어. organic 메이커 중요한 거라고. 퍼센트마다 체크 아주 열 लग도 엔다 같죠. 대선지진에 그 생각. 다들 인데가 준주는 숨도. semna pembodo kalde chusu yenane talamira jize kalde chusu menane talamira ji pensing this samta dos chene so to badala sanda chu chendo ya de keche
So we were saying that being in America, and if you worry about food being poisons, and as you said, then there's really no limit. Everything seems to be kind of problem. And then how long are you going to be in a problem and being worrying? And he has a friend who works in an organic, kind of production company, and he was also saying that although they claim they, produced to be organic, but they are not actually completely organic, And so the point here is that being worrying and being concerned, and how much are you going to being in that kind of situation? And again here, it might be helpful, kind of the teaching or advice by Shantideva in his practice of patience that we often, that we often quote. This: why be unhappy about something if it can be remedied? And what is the use of being unhappy about something if it cannot be remedied? If you can't fix it, then what is the point of being worrying? If you can fix it, then why not fix it instead of being worrying? That that kind of attitude is helpful in this kind of situation. Awe kowe shinkam te pendam de wa ma lu chungwe ne che singwa tenzin jasu shawe se de bado denju ji jambe pawe chidara kemba ta kondo sambo de ya de jin de da genge jasu ndalo jenge wa de da tamje Tezom shebe gyawa tamje gi ngowa kangla chodo nga ba de da shenge we zawa de gunja sambo junje rabdo ngowa rai. In the line and circled snow white mountains, the source of all happiness and benefits flows near pursuing cherries, dancing girls, remain into some signs. Just as the Bodhisattva Manjushri attained omniscience and summoned the virtue too, so now I to dedicate these manners to train and follow footsteps, as all the virtues of Buddhas of past, present, and future, praise dedication to the Supreme. So now I too dedicate these manners of my merit for all beings to perfect.